Thank you so much for coming.
Hey, you'll see. It's good.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Cortez. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna, as soon as I get something. Yes, sir. La corbata. Seguridad.
I'll squeeze myself.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? Thank you all so much for coming to our official Queen's Campaign Office launch. Really incredible. Oh, sorry. It's really incredible because
You can hold this.
you know, a lot of us are newcomers. Raise your hand if this is your first time to campaign. Let's give them a round. Some of us are veterans. Raise your hand if you're here in our last office.
Is it on? It's on. Okay.
2 years ago, as we know, we were kind of working away in complete anonymity, and we were in this kind of tiny little office in Corona, well, a different part of Corona, and it was on the second floor, and we probably were able to get the campaign office, I don't even know, maybe a month and a half or 2 months before the election, and it was this tiny little operation. I mean, it was probably, the whole office was probably like right there to back here, and people would come. And they sat down and they phone banked and we launched canvases and we made calls and we posted on Facebook and we recruited volunteers. And from that tiny little space, we were able to change our community and change the country.
Yeah.
And so now here we are, and it's almost shocking, but it's time to do it again.
Would have wanted any different.
We wouldn't want it any other way. And what I think is so important for us to communicate is what our goals are this year. Because as we know, this is not a normal community, this is not a normal campaign, and I like to think that I'm not a normal member of Congress. So this campaign is not just about a mere re-election. What we are trying to do is mobilize and organize all of New York's 14th congressional district, every single family, and touch every single person in this district. As we know, New York State has a history of voter suppression and laws on the books that have contributed to some of the most abysmal turnout rates in the country. We've made some progress in that thanks to our state elected officials like Jessica Ramos and with our progressive state officials, we've been able to make some change, but we still have a long ways to go. And so we have some really ambitious goals that we have. Last election cycle, as we know, in the primary, the turnout was quite low. While we did win by about 13 points, the turnout for the primary was low. And so this year, we want to multiply turnout by 4 times.
Yes.
That's our goal, and that goal means we want to secure 60,000 votes in the primary election. And so we need to start creating a turnout machine right now. And I want to talk about the importance of that, because it's not just about getting elected for another term in Congress. It's about making New York 14 a seat of power in New York City and in the entire state of New York. And what that means is not just this community and not just representatives of this community, it means the families of this community. Because as we know, those who turn out get listened to. And so if we get extremely high turnout rates here, then that means every statewide official, every citywide official needs to listen to the working families of the Bronx and Queens. And our policies need to be tailored. That means we'll have increased accountability to make sure we have just immigration laws on the city, state, and federal level. That means that we're gonna work hard for a federal and for a state for a living wage. That means that we're gonna try to secure single-payer health care here in the state of New York and federally. Yes. And all of that means that we're also going to push for a decarceral policy in the state of New York, federally and in the state. We need to do all of these things, and the way that we do it is by absolutely exploding turnout in New York 14. So that's the name of the game. That's the goal, and I'm thrilled to say that our grassroots movement has been able to generate so much momentum and so much support. We have proven that you can take bold, enormous stances, that you can push the Overton window, and that America is ready for that. Yes. We've had really big, even just from fundraising accomplishments. Our average contribution, it floats, is around $17 right now. $17 is our average donation to our campaign, and we've been able to out fundraise every single member in the Democratic caucus. And what that means is that investment does not go to cocktail parties for lobbyists. That investment does not go into hiring think tanks that want to increase the returns of the few at the expense of the many. By being a grassroots force, that means that investment goes right back into our community and right back into the hands of working families. And so as a consequence, as a result of that, we are now opening 2 campaign offices. This one here in Queens, and later we'll be opening our flagship in the Bronx. The goals of these spaces are going to be to maximize organizing in our district. So, okay. So, of course, we're going to be launching canvases out of here. We're going to be doing phone banks out of here. But we are also, where we can, inviting other grassroots organizations to be able to use this space as necessary to make sure that we are rallying and organizing, whether it's immigration justice, whether it's tenants' rights, whether it's a whole suite of different issues. We all know that space has been commodified to such a large degree in New York that every single square foot has been squeezed for profit, and that makes organizing really tough. And so what we're doing here is that we're going to try to open this space so that this is not just an election office. This office, particularly the Bronx one especially, has been custom built out to be available to organizers year round. With that, I am so incredibly excited, and that means that today we need to sign up for canvassing shifts. We have this whole thing is kicking off with the start of petitioning. And so as we know, we have to get right back on the ballot. New York, you can't buy your way on the ballot. You have to, thankfully. And so we have to collect signatures, just like we did. And 2 years ago, we were out there. I was running around like a mad woman, and a lot of our volunteers were as well, a lot of our supporters were, and we have to collect a very large amount of signatures to get on the ballot. And so that starts February 25th. So February 25th is when petitioning starts, which means on February 25th, we need to have canvas launches signed up, ready to go. And that means we're not only going to be collecting signatures, we're going to be making sure that we're educating them on the census as well. Mm-hmm. So we are doing a lot of active work. And what we need to do is make sure, especially in our communities, that every single family is counted. Here in Corona, we have some of the highest student-to-teacher ratios in the city, if not the country. And that's because a lot of families have not been counted in the census. And so city, state, and federal governments think that there's about 68% of the people that are actually here. We are undercounted about 30%. And so for our schools, for our roads, for our bridges, we need to make sure that all of our families are counted. So even if someone cannot vote, whether they do not have status, no matter what it is, there is something that we can do with every person and every constituent in New York's 14th congressional district. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to sign up for volunteer shifts here in Queens. So that includes Astoria, College Point, Corona, East Elmhurst, Jackson Heights, LaFrac, Sunnyside, and Woodside. Literally anywhere in the district. So let's sign up, let's fill up these shifts, and let's get to work because we're going to
I don't know.
Okay. Do we have Corbin or Rebecca? Do we have any other? Is that all?
I think that's about it. You've got to open up the Bronx office soon too.
Yes, exactly. And after that, we're going to go to the Bronx office. Please feel free to go to both offices. The Bronx office, I have not seen it yet. It's going to be a surprise, and I'm really excited because we put in like a lot of resources to make sure that it's completely built out. It's going to be built to last. It's going to be an educational space. It's going to be like a mini grassroots TED Talk kind of space, and we're going to make sure that this is also a project of political education on top of political organizing. You want to take a photo? Okay.
I know you're on the super
take a photo of us.
I'm trying to study to be a policy officer, and I really want to the campaign. I've been talking
Si se puede.
Justine.
Si se puede.
And
Si se puede.
Save the 249 bus.
Esto es tuyo.
Take them up here.
All right, everyone. Give me some energy.
Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca. I'm the campaign manager. I know we are one big happy crowd here, but I want our field people, if you're leading a canvas, if you're working within our field, please raise both your hands. I want you to find these people and talk to them about how you can be involved, and they can work with you from there. Of course, all right, thank you all so much.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all I make. Got it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Si se puede. Yeah.
Hi, how are you? I'm Sam. Nice to meet you.
He wants to get a picture.
I just want to get a picture.
I'm gonna get a picture if you don't mind. Thank you so much.
And a second question, what do you think of reports that
Can I get a picture?
that Michael
Someone hold this?
Yeah, do you want to go now?
I've never heard of someone.
Folks, we're gonna do the photos in the front of the building. So if you can clear a path for her, so we can get her to the front of the building, we'll do photos up there. Okay?
And what do you think of De Blasio endorsing?
Anyone who comes on.
How thank you, AC.
How's Deco?
Thank
He's
you.
doing so well. I'm
Please
so
save our
happy.
Q49 bus. Jim Book has been an advocate on that.
Thank you.
We need a courtesy letter from you because we're losing our bus
We're
service.
losing a lot of our buses in the Queens bus. And we've been on the bus like 2 hours, me and Nula, everyone, 2 hours every morning educating people.
Okay, so I'll make sure that our office looks in, and we'll try to send it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
El pueblo unido jamás se va vencido.
I got it on video. I got it on video.
Oh, great.
You did it.
I want to show you the picture.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
Where is the guy who took a picture of me? That was the guy? You took a picture of me? No. Gosh, thanks a lot. Like, I just no, you.
That was good.
You took thanks a lot. Nice, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Do the air.
The time lapse, and then I mean the airdrop, yeah.
So again, this is a Passengers United special report. We are here live at AOC's headquarters. Live coverage.
Yeah.
I did a picture here, but I don't really know the boss at all.
Airdrop. I think that's you, right? JCB.
Yes.